Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast, number 2 on the charts, number 1 in your hearts. I'm your host, Wesley, and of course, I am joined by my sassy co-host,
Madison.
And today, we are ranking the remaining 13 players on Survivor 49, because yes, episode 4 just occurred. Yes, we went from 3 tribes down to 2, thank goodness. And Madison, you watched last night's episode. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, I believe everything that's ever been said by Jeff, how much... On that scale, how much do you believe Jeff when he said at 14 we were doing this anyways with the 2 tribes?
Put me at like, I'll do a 6. I'll tip it slightly in his favor. I'll give him a little credit. He is Jeff Probst.
You know what? I'll give him an 8. I'll say I believe him with a little bit of like because like what all right, so like on paper when they plan the season they're like, okay, yeah, when we get down to 14 in episode 5, that's where we're going from 3 tribes down to 2, and then the very next episode will be the Mergatory, and it's like, who planned this? I guess not. I mean, well, next week isn't the Mergatory and we're down to 13. Maybe the Mergatory is at 12.
That's why I'm at 6 though on my little scale that you've created, because like, you know, there was plan A, there was plan B, C, D, E. We're at plan like J. And that was this happening. So that's why I'm giving him a 6, because it was a plan, just like way down the list. But I am going to put on my tinfoil hat and I'm going to hope that there's no Mergatory and there's just a merge.
Oh, that would be nice. But we all know that's not happening, but that would be nice.
Now I've got my hat on.
All right. I'm on a scale of, I'm on 1 on the 1 to 10 of believing that will happen.
I'm a 10.
Okay, good.
Minus 9.
Now,
but still.
A couple other things happened last night. One, of course, was us going down to 2 tribes, which we're talking about right now. What did you think about this? Like, was it better than the 3 tribes, or you're like, I wish we just stayed at 3?
Honestly, this was so refreshing. I feel like 2 tribes, sure, it's 1 less tribe, but it yields to, I don't want to necessarily say chaos, because I don't know that that's what it was, but it yields to more, I don't know, tension or conflict within the tribe that they actually have to try and figure out. I feel like we got a lot of airtime of people trying to understand the minority of the tribe. So the way it was split, you know, 2 of the former tribes were obviously majorities. But I think there was more ability to look at dynamics. There was more ability to draw lines. There was more ability to have that camp life that I have missed in the new era. So I really like this. I am happy with 2 tribes.
My only criticism is I like it. I hope that they do it in the future, not at 14, but maybe a couple episodes earlier. So we get like 2 people voted off. I don't know if that numerically works out. Yeah, why not? We can go from 18 down to 16. And at 16, we go to 2 tribes. So we only have 2 episodes of 3 tribes, and then we go down 2 tribes sooner, because I'm with you, like it creates more, and also there's more time at each camp because there's only 2 camps to split between. And then if they want to do their journeys, which I will say they have we only had 1 this season? Like, talk about real restraint on the journeys. If they do want to have any journeys or anything like that, or have a reward where they like they actually have a reward and not what they got tonight. Yeah. Where they want to like go to a sand spit or something, like they'll have time for it because they only have 2 tribes. They don't have to split between 3 tribes in a journey, you know? So yeah, that leads to my next question. The reward. Are you team Sophie S or are you team Jeff in this situation?
Listen, I knew that you would ask this. I tried to mentally prepare for you to do that. So here's the thing. I get where she's coming from, because the thing about fruit is it's gonna go bad. And, you know, if you've ever had a lot of fruit at once, even when you are actively eating, that could really hurt later. So like,
and it's 85 degrees. They don't have a refrigerator.
Yeah, and also those fruits were cut into little designs, so there was less fruit than if you gave me the whole fruit, not cut up into some little design.
The fruit's already exposed. It's already exposed.
I get it. I get where she's coming from. However, if I have somehow made it to Survivor and I've been there for a week and I'm starving, I'm just going to eat the fruit. And honestly, like, if you know me as a person, if you put me in front of a challenge with a prize, I just want to do the challenge and get the prize. So I can't, this is a non-answer. I can't pick a team, but I would just eat the fruit personally. I would just go for it.
I'm team Sophie S, but I don't think at this point in my life that I would be as gutsy as to say that to Jeff's face at the challenge. I would definitely think it. If you had asked me 10 years ago, though, I would have absolutely done what Sophie S did, and I would be like, I wouldn't understand what was wrong about what, and it's not wrong for her to say it, but unless you end up winning the season, you are asking for the show not to give you a favor in the storytelling.
Oh, 100% no. No, some things make a little sense now because she said this.
Right. We'll talk about that when we get to Sophie S.'s section. The fact that she said that and how that may have affected the story, because they left it in the show. But I want to point out, because I went back and rewatched it. Survivor always uploads the immunity challenge, like right as the episode is done on YouTube. So you can go back and watch this yourself as well. By the way, people who are in Canada, apparently every season's on Paramount Plus. I just found this out from somebody. So awesome. That's insane that it wasn't already there, but I'm glad the Canadians now have the option to have all the seasons legally available and their best quality. Right. All right. With that, she does that. She says it. And it's kind of like everybody there, when she says it, they make sure to show everybody's face disagreeing with her.
When they cut the music, it went dead silent.
They made sure they didn't show anybody showing any sympathy or empathy or whatever you want to call it towards Sophie S. They made sure everyone was agreeing with Jeff, basically. And that's why they left it in the show, to show that, like, this naysayer, in
this new era, that was certainly an inside thought, unfortunately.
On Gabon, Jeff would have been the one saying what Sophie S said, because Jeff was just, like he's stoking the fire. He's like, oh, you might as well give up. I don't even know why you're trying. That's what he would say to like people and tribes and stuff. Like that was the Jeff of that era would say so. He wouldn't say that about the reward, obviously, but that kind of like sassy snarkiness, you know. But then again, if you think back to Micronesia, I remember like Jeff's like, all right, you guys ready for the challenge? Jason's like, what about what we're playing for, Jeff? He's like, I'll get to that. So, you know.
Yes. I like that, Jeff.
I miss snarky Jeff. And Colby's like, I don't want no chocolate. I'm ready to eat. And Jeff's like, okay, well, we'll go when I'm ready.
I love it. I feel like I'm always in this constant balance of I'm watching the current season and then I'm watching older seasons too. And it's like, I'm getting whiplash from these two Jeffs.
Right. Well, Jeff, just like me saying 10 years ago, I would have done what Sophie S did. Jeff has grown and gotten older and calmed down as a person. You know,
true.
60-year-old Jeff's not the same as 40-year-old Jeff, and that's for good reason. So, all right, let's go through every player alphabetically. We're going to start with Alex. We're going to go all the way down to Steven. I say down because I'll look at their names on the wiki. And we're going to rank every single one of them. Our rankings, Madison and I's, will be down in the description. And Mary will be back with us next week. Anyway, so we're going to rank every single player, rankings down in the description. The chart on the top right-hand corner on YouTube, that shows how many times people have talked to the camera in a confessional, while the numerical quantity is not super important. The quality of confessionals are more important. I used to say this, and then somebody commented last week, so I'm going to reiterate. The quantity is important. It's just not as important as the quality. I know this, but I just want to throw it out there. I'm aware of it. All right, let's start with Alex. He is on the blue tribe, and he has one vote against him. Unfortunately, does not have his idol anymore, though, as we talked about last week, I think he made the right move playing it. He is on the blue tribe, and while he did get only 4 confessionals last night, he has the most of the season with 31, and last night he still got the most confessionals on the blue tribe. So like 4 is nothing to sneeze at when you look at comparison to everybody else. Madison, what do you think about Alex?
You know, Alex moved up for me this week. I like him. I mean, I liked him last week. You've already heard that. But the thing with Alex is he's continuing that underdog story. And honestly, I think getting that underdog edit. So, you know, we start with him talking about him and Sophie, how they're solidified, which I'm not 100% confident in that on her end. But, you know, Alex is, and so that provides some security. But he also, when he got to this new tribe where he is the only one from the former Kella tribe, he was looking for those cracks. I mean, him and Sophie both, not to jump to her, but they're both looking for the original Hina tribe and the original Uli tribe and trying to find those cracks and just like get in there and be protected. And so I think he did that really well. And honestly, I think he came across as endearing at the camp to the others, you know, those who had to go to the camp that was just not fantastic because they literally never won and had nothing there. I just thought he was kind of charming in his presentation of that, and it seemed like he got good rapport and good favor. So I'm feeling pretty decent about Alex at this point. I feel like he's insulated, and I feel like he's well liked.
He did well integrating into the new blue tribe, getting on into the numbers. It looks like Sage and Shannon are on the outs in this tribe. Alex is not. I think it does help, kind of like you go back to Matt Singh on 25, where it got down to just Denise and Malcolm, and then they split to different tribes, and like their threat level is just so low as a result of like having, you have no power here, is what they were quoting Lord of the Rings. You have no power here. What are you gonna do, Denise? Win the game? You know, what are you gonna do, Malcolm? Run the table to the end? Right. But they end up having power because of that, because people overlook them. This is just one episode. We'll see how it goes as we get on with the season. Like, people might eventually be like, well, there's a really good story Alex and Sophi B both have, where they did just get down 2 people, and then they were by themselves on tribe, and like the whole pre-merge story, everyone's aware of it. This isn't like, well, you made a move in episode 2 and nobody saw it. Like, sure, Annie got voted off in episode 2, but like, that's not going to be the story. Your story's not going to be like, we voted off Nicole and Annie. It's going to be like, oh, we were on the loser tribe and Jake got bit and he left and it was devastating. I lost my shoe to the ocean. Thanks, Jake. You know, that kind of stuff. So Alex, definitely in a good position. As you said, insulated. I think he'll be solid through the Mergatory, which I assume is going to be episode 6. So he's only got to make it through one more episode. And whether they go to tribal or not, yeah, I mean, if they don't go tribal, obviously, but if they go to tribal, it definitely looks like Sage versus Shannon. That's what they said next time on Survivor. It did not sound like Alex on the table. However, next time on Survivor has been known to lie to us to make it seem like something's going to happen, because the absolute predictable thing would be, well, let's just take a safe vote and vote off Alex. And that's very possible. I just don't see it happening.
Although this season, I feel like, though, they're accurate every time this season for some reason. Like, if you just see it, you can believe it.
They're spoiling the season on purpose.
Literally.
I mean, you might be onto something. I'll pay more attention, because you're right. They did spoil the Jake thing when they had, in my opinion, no need to. I know the next time Survivor is to hook you in watch the next episode. Like, there was no need to spoil that it was Jake who got bit. They could have not pretended. They could have shown, oh, there's a bite. Oh no, like somebody's getting medically evacuated without showing who it was, but they showed it was Jake. And it's like, why did you spoil who though? You didn't have to spoil the who. The what is fine, but why the who?
Yeah. But they also basically, speaking of the who, like they basically showed who was on what tribe already, and that there were only 2 tribes, I felt like. Yeah,
and if you watch Next Month Survivor for this week, leading into this week, it seemed like Matt was a threat, and it's like, okay, that's what ended up happening. Like, why are they spoiling the actual episode? You know, in retrospect, in a matter of 10 seconds, there's no need. There's so many other things that happened. That was the thing. You couldn't show Sophie S telling Jeff it was a bad reward and everybody going, she's crazy. Like, that would have been a funny next time on Survivor. Like, what, next week somebody's going to tell Jeff this is a bad reward? Like, that to me is a cliffhanger that gets the casuals upset and gets me laughing. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. I like those.
Yeah, something that doesn't spoil the episode, but is like a thing that will happen. So, yeah, Alex, for me, where do you have him ranked?
I have him at number 3.
Wow. Oh, wow. Top 3. I have him at 6. I could see a case for him being top 5. I could see him moving up next week for me to 5. But at the moment, I have him at 6. I think that he's completely golden with the next tribal. If Blue does go, and it really is Sage versus Shannon, next time Survivor presented that as what's happening. Though I think Savannah said something about Jawan, so watch out, Jawan. Holy crap! Apparently, red flag.
Okay, but she gets mad a decent amount, so
she gets mad a lot.
You know, we'll see.
Savannah is a lot. We'll get Savannah. Savannah's a lot nicer, but like the amount of time she gets mad is almost comparable to. Is it almost comparable to Russell Hantz, where like Russell Hantz get mad at somebody every episode? But the way the approach is different. I'm aware the approach is different, but the numerical amount, it's like on paper. Like Q would say big mistake, but I don't remember the big mistake thing coming until later in the season. True. Savannah started off with red flags right in episode 1. So,
I mean, literally red flags.
Let's stay on track here. Alex, number 6 for me, number 3 for you. Okay, our next player is. Oh no, I lost my thing. There it is. All right, Jason is next. He is on the yellow tribe. Stayed on the yellow tribe. Has 2 votes against him. Only has 5 confessionals. Did get skunked back in episode 2. And in my personal opinion, he's the only one, by the way, with single digits on this new yellow tribe. He has to be the next go if they go tribal, in my opinion. Jason, I don't know. He got saved because Matt, I think, talked his way out of the game, is how I saw it last night. But Jason should have pitched, hey, I'm better for you than Matt because I can win at puzzles. And we have all seen how many challenges have puzzles in the pre-merge. However, come the post-merge, we all know that like half the challenges are endurance challenges. That's not my forte. My forte is puzzles. So it's not like I'll get you to the merge and then you won't have a chance to vote me off. I'll get you the merge. You know, like, I don't, that's how I'd be like so blatant. Like, personally, if I was Jason, like, that'd be my pitch to like save me over Matt. Be like, I can win at puzzles, and be like, this is my new tribe. That because he made a mistake, as Savannah said, a red flag, talking about, you know, he's still in love with the old Hina, and it's like, dude, this, you just, even if it doesn't actually mean anything, even if it's just lip service, you guys just gotta say, this is the tribe I'm on now, and that's the truth. This is the tribe I'm on now. This is what I care about now. Like, that old Hina was the first 6-7 days. That doesn't matter anymore. What good does that do me? That's the kind of talk you gotta do. And Savannah was like, not even lip service. Didn't give me lip service about this. So Jason, man, low for me. What do you think about Jason?
He's also low for me. There's not a whole lot that I can add that you didn't say, but I just think when it came to why he did what he did, he has not really had the game up to this point, and I think he was thrown off because I'm assuming, even though we didn't see a whole lot of his original tribe, I'm just assuming that he was very close with the people, with the tribe mates, and now that he's not with them, he's trying to stay loyal to them, and kind of like you said, you know, he doesn't realize that he can give that lip service and still be loyal to them. He just needs to, you know, still make it to have the opportunity to be loyal to them. And so in particular with Savannah, he was just reading all of those social plays wrong. So I imagine he'll do that again. Although I will say, I'll give him some credit. He is the one who did end up voting, you know, with what he thought was the entirety of the original Red tribe. And it was Matt who did not do that. So I think when the rubber hits the road, like, Jason will do what he has to, but it's going to be the very last moment. And I don't think that's going to give him any longevity.
Yeah, his pitch last night should have just been throw Matt under the bus. And remember, those listening, and sometimes even I forget, it's like the pre-merge, I feel like you have more leeway to throw somebody under the bus. Now, there is the thought that, okay, these people I'm throwing him under the bus too are going to make the post-merge with me. Therefore, they'll be on the jury. You know, people, recency bias is very important. So, like, I am down to throw people under the bus in the first 5 episodes because we all know first 5 episodes, that's pre-merge. Like, these people aren't on the jury. Their feelings get a little hurt. That's fine as long as I'm safe.
Right.
It's the post-merge where you got to massage people on their way out the door.
Sure.
Massage their shoulders as you vote them off, you know?
Well, you have to have that jury management. And I think he's just thinking a little too hard about... Actually, maybe he's not even thinking hard enough about feelings. I don't really know. He just, when it gets down to it, and there are 4 people, is it 4? However many. He was in the minority with Matt. It was going to be him or Matt. You have got to just throw Matt under. Matt's not going to be here tomorrow.
Sophi B integrated really well and clearly was not on the table to be voted off. And that was another way to go, would be him and Matt pitching Sophi B. But like, if you get
Matt tried.
Matt also tried Nate, which...
Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
They both just needed to say each other. That's the moral of the story. And that
really did.
happens. That happens when you go to 2 tribes. You know, I know it's been a long time since we've done that, but you kind of get put on a tribe, and when there's only 2 of you, it's going to be one of you, and you just have to accept it.
So true. So for me, I have him in dead last. I have him in 13th place, mostly due to that skunked episode, but also he's just not in a good spot anyways. What about you?
I put him in 12th.
All right. And by the way, for those wondering what skunked means, that means he got 0 confessionals in an episode. And historically, since Survivor 42, if you have a 0 confessional episode, you don't win. I learned the lesson that I already knew last season when Joe had a 0 confessional episode. I'm like, yeah, but it's Joe. Nope, it didn't matter. I should have listened to myself. So, all right. Our next player is Jawan. He is on the new Yellow Tribe. At the moment, it looks like he is in the Majority Alliance. However, I haven't watched Next Time on Survivor since it briefly happened at the end of the episode last night. Like, I haven't rewatched it. But I think Savannah said Jawan, something about him is making her mad / a red flag. I do recall early in the season how he accidentally got bugs in her bag on accident. And she was like smiling, but she was like inside him seething. And I think last night, Savannah did that again where she's like smiling as Matt was talking about how he's a finance person. She's like, what a sociopath. Only sociopaths do that job. But she was smiling as he was talking about that big grin. It's like, that grin's scary, dude. Anyways, her ire is on Jawan, and that's not good. However, I don't think Jawan's going anywhere. I think that they might be setting up Jawan for we make the merge and he gets voted off. Because why have we got multiple episodes now? Or next time on Survivor, I'm assuming he's telling the truth. Why have we got multiple things now saying, Jawan, you got to go from Savannah?
Well, she did say in one of her confessionals that I think is relevant. I want to say it was Matt, maybe Jason. I don't remember who it was, but someone said to her, that they saw that Jawan was the bottom of the original Red Tribe. And in her confessional, she did that little smile and she's like, I mean, they're right. And so I think even just that simple moment, she's a power player. And if she's saying he's at the bottom, I think he is at the bottom. And if we go back to before this tribe swap, he and Sage were at the bottom of their tribe. And so while, yes, he's currently in the majority, I do think he's at the bottom of that majority unless he is able to turn things around. I do think he made the right move by not trying to flip things right when he did, because, Matt pitched that to him. I think that was smart to not do that then, because there would be too much infighting and he's insulated enough to not need that. But I think he has a good edit. He also has an underdog edit, but the way I was trying to think about it is you have Alex who has an underdog edit where like they literally lost everything. Jawan is the underdog of the people who are dominating the game. So how much of an underdog is that really?
Yeah.
But I think he's in good standing. I like him so far.
I like Jawan, but there's the little hints from Savannah, who seems to be very much a main character. And as we already know, this is the Winter Analysis Podcast. We can talk really about it. She's going to be on 50, which means she's an important character that obviously is going to go far, because her and Rizgod both being on 50 just told us before the season even began that they're important. But we've seen it, like, she is important, and apparently when she is mad at someone, it means something. That does not mean she's going to win, and we'll talk about that in her section, but it does mean that she is an important power player in this game. And if Jawan's in her sights, it does make me a little bit worried. As you said, he was at the bottom of Red originally, but now things have been mixed up, and we'll see. We go into the post-merge. When will that matter, I guess? When will it matter that she's like, I remember when you put bugs in my bag back in day 3 or 4 or whatever it was. So Jawan, for me, I have ranked number 7, and now that we have both kind of dunked on his position, not him as a person, just his position, I kind of want to move him down, but it's too late. Where do you have him ranked, Madison?
Hey, lucky number 7.
Oh, you as well?
Yeah. Oh. I did not copy your homework this time. That is luck. It's number 7.
Question, who said it first? That's right. It's whoever speaks the loudest and the firstest. That's who's the most correctest.
The firstest. Okay, got it.
All right, let's move on to our next player, Kristina. Purple Kristina. She has a whopping 5 confessionals, which is not the least. Like, she's tied with Jason, even though she had 2 episodes where she got a fat 0. She had 2 zeros, man. And we were like, Kristina, she doesn't get to talk at all. And then this episode, they're like, okay, Kristina, you can talk. And she got to talk.
Right.
And she was the only one this season with a sob story. And pre-47, this was a requirement to win the game, was to have one of these. Right. Since 47, it's no longer a requirement. Rachel didn't have one. And as far as I recall, and by sob story, I mean emotional backstory with pictures. I don't think Kyle had that. I know Kyle had emotional backstory, but I don't think it was with pictures. I don't remember Rachel having either.
I don't either.
I don't remember that. I think it was just Teeny and Kyle in 47. And then, Teeny, Kyle, the different Kyle, the Kyle that was winning challenges, even though he was getting like 3rd place in a challenge, you get immunity around his neck. That Kyle, not Kyle and Camilla. Kyle and Camilla 48. Yeah. So she got it. That's good. It definitely made me want to root for, like, I liked Kristina episode 1. She disappeared for 2 episodes, and then she reappeared and gave us this. And I'm like, I like Kristina. Where's Kristina been? Kind of reminds me of Genevieve, where Genevieve was almost absent in 47 for like 4 episodes until Keyshawn said, what about Genevieve? And then that just took off. That was Genevieve, became a main character on the show. And I'm hoping, even if Kristina doesn't win, that she becomes a main character, because every time I see her, I'm like, I like Kristina. Where has she been in the show? So what do you think about Kristina?
I agree with you. I have thought that she, from what we've seen, has been likable from the very beginning. And, candidly, I really like, trying to think how to say this. I like how in the new era, we're starting to see people who get backstories without photos. And I say that even though what I'm about to say is Kristina's were very appropriate. It was clear that her mom is such a huge influence on her life and someone who she really wants to play this game for. And I thought it was really fitting. And I'm not saying that any other photos that have been shown, it was inappropriate at all. I just think sometimes you get removed. Earned. Well, you get removed from the island whenever you're like suddenly at a baseball game or you're, wherever. I don't remember where all these photos have been, but I thought that Kristina's was well done.
Well, Xander was fat in 40, and then he was like, I I hit puberty and they stopped being fat, and they had to show photos for that. Of course, that was very important.
Well, you know
in
what?
41.
More power to him for that. But with Kristina, like I said, I think it was fitting. I think it was something that made me, really appreciate where she was coming from. And I really appreciated at the end of the challenge when she kicked down and unfortunately fell on top of the blocks. She said it was for Karen. So it was nice to be able to understand who it was she was dedicating that moment to. But like you said, she has been skunked twice. I'm not anticipating her being a winner, but I do hope she's a character because I like her.
Right. My ranking of her is not based on how much I like her. It's definitely based on her winner chances, as it's supposed to be. In my opinion, she's dead in the water in terms of winner chances. Doesn't mean she can't be a main character. Doesn't mean she can't be important to the season, but chances for winning seem really low. So I have her ranked at 12. What about you?
I have her at 11, so she's the top of the skunked for me.
Yeah. I almost put her at the top of the skunked, but the person I have above her in the skunked list did something that I greatly enjoy. So we'll talk about that when we get there. All right, our next player after Kristina is MC. MC is on the new Blue Tribe. And last night for me was a make or break for MC. I was like, okay, I like MC through 3 episodes. She seemingly is on the least important tribe. Red was getting good focus every week. Blue, of course, had to get focus every week. But Yellow, she was the most important of the Yellow tribe. And I was like, okay, I need to not overlook this tribe because I did that last year. I was like, this orange tribe, they're not important. But then look who's important. David, Kyle, Camilla, flipping. That was the least important pre-merge tribe. And what did I know? They ended up having the winner on it. MC last night, while she didn't get skunked, she does have 8 confessionals. Only got 1?
Only got 1. And I actually thought she didn't get 1. You and Rebecca as my witnesses, where I'm messaging you. Did she get skunked? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It was just so fast.
She did great in the challenge. I know my sister was messaging me like, oh, no, you watch her for MC and post-merge. And I agree. Like, MC probably will be great in challenges. But in terms of our winner analysis, this doesn't, kill her chances. But I did have to move her down on the principle of, okay, now we got to a new situation. You would think if you're an important character for the season that we're going to hear more from you. If she'd gotten 3, I'd have felt satisfied, but 1, I was like, oh no. And I don't remember, I don't remember what it was. I don't remember what she said.
I think it was immediately after the tribe swap, but I might be making that up.
What do you think about MC?
I'm keeping her up high. She did go down a little bit for me because the thing is, we're not seeing a lot about MC, but I feel like every time we see something about her, it is perfect. It's just fine. There is not a problem with it. So I can't point at anything she's done and say, that was not good. She is not winning. The only thing I can point at is her confessional count. And like you said, sometimes pre-merge, it's like that. Yeah,
like Kristina. I like both these people, but their confessional counts, their focus is just not there for them, even though I like them.
The difference is, though, MC is just... I said this last week. She is so good at challenges. I mean, she held someone on her shoulders for so long after not eating as much as normal for the last week. I was so impressed with her. She's so strong. She's amazing.
She has the beware advantage as well. I almost forgot to mention it.
I actually did forget about that. So another point for her. But I think if she makes it to the merge, which I do anticipate, although I'm less confident in the stability of her tribe, if she makes it there, all that strength and endurance, I'm so confident in her.
I don't see MC going before they vote off Sage, Shannon, and Alex. If there's some reason there's 3 tribals before the merge, which just sounds insane in the new era, I just can't imagine her going before those 3 people without something massively going wrong. MC, I like her position in the game. I like her. I like what she has with Beware Advantage. I was kind of hoping her and Rizgod to be on the same tribe just to see the scramble for... Though apparently, with the way everyone's helping Rizgod, I guess MC wouldn't have stood a chance getting her Beware Advantage. Or unless she was a one-man wrecking crew going over there as soon as she could. Because people are helping Rizgod. Yeah, MC got the Beware Advantage. So if they do a tribal, she has an idol. She's going to have an idol. I think... Unlike Rizgod, she kept it secret. It's only to her.
I value that.
Steven? Does Steven know?
Yes, Steven, I'm pretty sure she did tell.
Steven could leak it, but I think that would be...
I don't think he will.
I think if he did, it would be a worst case. Okay, tonight we're voting off MC or Steven. That's our only options that we're really considering. I think that's when Steven would say something.
Sure.
Right. I think it's the only way Steven would say something, to be like, hey guys, MC has an idol, which could put him dead in the water. And of course, this is a hypothetical situation, but that's the only time I could see him, for good reason, saying it. So at the moment, I think she's done a good job keeping it secret. Of course, I like what nobody knows personally. I'm a big fan of you don't tell anyone about your idol ever. There's no need.
There's more power.
There's
you
really
have more power.
no need.
It's your secret.
The only reason to tell anybody is you get to final 5. You have immunity around your neck already. And you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I also have an idol. Like, cause it doesn't matter at that point. But yeah, MC, I like MC. I moved her down to 4. Where do you have her ranked?
Wesley, I also have her at 4. And you said it firstest.
Right. Who said it firstest and is the most correctest because they did and is the loudest. That's right. You copied me.
Loudest, firstest, most correctest. Got it.
For those wondering how it actually works, I write down my rankings. Madison literally handwrites down her rankings, and then we get on the call together and tell each other the rankings before we start the podcast. So I have them all listed in front of me. So like, I obviously know you're just 4, but you didn't know mine was 4, but like I wrote down mine before you. So if anything, Madison, if anyone was to be suspected of copying rankings, it actually should be me because
good.
Here's the thing. Like I wrote it. I know I wrote it before, but I'm the only witness to that. You know, you wrote it before and you know,
I'm going to call Mary right after this and say, hey, watch him next time. I'm sick of this.
Wesley.
Firstest, loudest, most correctest.
Firstest, loudest, most correctest. Right. All right. Our next player after MC is Nate. Nate, with only 1 vote against him, is on the new Yellow Tribe, does seem to be in the numbers. I can't see. No one's even mentioned Nate in a negative way. I want to clarify. Last week, people were saying that Nate's lying. He was a producer on Spider-Man 2. He was not. You can look at his IMDb. That's the website where it shows what everyone has done in every film project they've ever worked on. And Nate did not become a producer until 2014, which is 10 years after Spider-Man 2. So when he told everyone he was a production assistant to play down his importance in the film industry, he was telling the truth, but he's talking about a job he did 20 years ago for good reason. 21 years ago, I guess, because it's filmed in 2025. So yeah, I just want to throw that there. Nate has 10 confessionals, and I feel like he's important, and he is not going anywhere before the merge, even at the merge story. I don't think Nate's gonna be a target. Has anyone spoken ill of Nate at all?
Not outside of Matt that I can recall.
And Matt's gone.
So what does it matter?
Matt, red flag, big mistake. Cancel Christmas. Don't talk about Nate. We cherish Nate around here. Nate is trying to blend in. He is doing his best to learn what cinema is, what Riz is. He doesn't know any of these words mean. He's like, people in the professional industry of film do not talk like this. But he is suffering his way through this Gen Z, whatever, Gen Alpha lingo that he has to deal with. Madison, what do you think about Nate? Where do you have him like ranked and stuff?
I like Nate. I feel like that's how I start every single one of them. I like them. I do like Nate. I think, like you said, no one's drawing attention to him, and who has drawn attention to him is gone. I do think he has shown he can be a little more vocal in a way that kind of makes me nervous. Like after the fact, I feel like I may have put him a little too high. But I'm going to stick to my guns with it. But he's got a strong alliance. I feel like he has good reads on things. He gets a little, his vendettas, they show because he says them out loud. Savannah's are out loud because they're in a confessional. But Nate will get to talking a bit. So that makes me nervous for him. But I do like him a lot. And I think he could go far. And I stick to what I've previously said, that I think he has gotten acclimated to the younger people and blended in really well in a way that serves him well. I'm just not 100% on him.
Nate, I have ranked 5. Are you going to copy me again?
I'm not going to copy you, Wesley, because I have him number 6.
Okay, good. I like Nate. Man, the way you talked about Nate, I was like, oh no, maybe I am thinking too highly of Nate. At the moment,
I'm nervous.
He feels well insulated. I don't think you're right. Outside of like Matt, like who's talked ill about Nate? Like nobody. So that makes me think that once we hear somebody talking ill about Nate, it's like, oh no, are they setting up for his elimination? Right. But it could be the flip side. Again, while I do concede that is likely that Savannah wins due to Survivor spoiling themselves potentially by putting her on a tribe with no winners on 50. I also think it's possible that Savannah's just like a really strong player and gets to the end and loses, and Survivor's like, you should have won. Survivor's, by the way, known to love a person who should have won in their eyes and to bring them back over people who actually won. Very possible she loses. And, who's the hero that beats Savannah? The person who, is kind of a villainess in a lot of ways. Could it be Nate? Not saying it is Nate.
I mean, I could see it.
Who is the person that the show's like, yeah, like they're fine, like they're, but not good enough to bring back for 50, even though they won. Somebody like that could be a Nate. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and I could see that too, because what originally...
And Nate could be like, I don't have time to take off work for another season of the show.
He's busy on another movie.
Right.
But what originally had me put him in the position I did, in number 6, is that he has this open vendetta. He is openly angry about it, and yet still no one is saying anything bad about him. And he's got the alliance that's still going with him and doesn't see a problem with what he said. So I'm wondering, maybe he can get far and he can say those things and it works for him.
I like Nate, and I like what you just said there, but I didn't like what you said earlier.
Because it scared you?
For that, you shall be stoned after this podcast is done.
Oh, great. It was really great being here. I enjoyed the time I had. Our
next player is the Rizgod, Rizgod. He has the hidden immunity idol, which he found out in the ocean with the... I want to point out, I know Savannah said, I'm only helping him because I want him to have a vote, which, is true. But she did help him nonetheless dig up that map and everything. He did find the idol. He's in good standings. Like, he is solid like Nate. I think he's in a really good spot on his new yellow tribe. He has a good number of confessionals sitting at 22. He had that one confessional second episode, but other than that, like, he's been doing really well. This week he got 7. 22. So not the most, but he's definitely top, I think 4, because he's in the 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Rizgod, Madison?
Okay, so I said this last week. I'm probably going to continue to say it. This man stumbles into success. He just shows up and his alliance has done the work for him. They have found the map and they have found the idol, or not the idol, but like the key to the idol, whatever it was. They did all the legwork for him except actually go out into the ocean and get that idol. I am, again, not saying that Rizgod does not deserve his success, because clearly he's got these people wrapped around his finger. But that is just his saying he stumbles into success. I think he's very well liked. He continues to build good relationships. I thought it was interesting how quickly he and Sophi B bonded, because he pulled her into this whole idol thing and told her. I was kind of hoping that she would actually try and steal it out from under him like she did at her original tribe. But Rizgod is, to me... he is a character. I don't know that he's a winner, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was, which is why he's higher up for me. But he is just entertaining to watch. I really enjoy watching him, and he keeps succeeding again by stumbling into it.
He is the Rizgod. Shannon seems to be invested in multiple religions. Is it possible that Shannon views the Rizgod as a god, and therefore at the end she will try to sway the jury to all vote for the Rizgod? Because I'm assuming Shannon doesn't make it very far based on what we've seen so far. And the Rizgod is very potentially in the final 3. Does she sway the jury and say, this is the Rizgod and we should all bow to him? Unironically. What do you think?
Wesley.
What?
I don't know how to respond.
This is clearly a joke, by the way, people. I think Shannon just today or yesterday posted like she's getting rid of all of her witchcraft and all this other stuff. And so like Shannon
I think she called it her hippie stuff.
Right. Her has openly acknowledged that she is all over the place. So this is a joke. Clearly it's a joke. And anybody takes it seriously.
It would be if she went to a jury and she vouched for Rizgod, it would still be better than what Maria did.
I would oh my gosh, don't even. I would love, and I mean, don't even get me started on that.
If he is only calling himself Rizzo to them, who is going to call him Rizgod naturally? Or Rizgod naturally? We're only hearing it in confessionals. So, like, do they even know who they're with? Like, do they realize?
He has to win, like, an individual immunity challenge and, like, just have a Rick Devens explosion of emotion and just say
it.
Rizgod,
baby! That's how he truly gets established.
Yeah, I could totally see that. That's very much in character. Rizgod, I have it number 2. Where do you have him at?
He went down for me.
What? He had 7 confessionals. And with an idol.
With an idol that someone else found for him. So he is at 5.
What? Nobody else. He would have dug up the water well. He was going to do it. He was just probably taking a poop or something. Who knows what he was doing?
I don't need to think about that.
All I'm saying is that he would have found that. He found the idol on the ocean.
He did go get it. And devil's advocate to myself, like, to have that many people just do the work for you and you didn't even tell them to. That's a pretty high level thing.
He had people helping him. Savannah could have gone the evil route and stolen it. I don't know why she would have, but she could have. She could have just stolen it. She could have picked that thing out from by the water well and then gone and got the idol herself. She could have.
She could have, but she didn't. Sophie would have. Sophie B would have. I believe it. And I would be here for it.
So Rizgod, I have it too. Where'd you have him again?
Rizgod is at number 5.
I guess. Disgraceful. Shannon's gonna have to have a talk with you. All right, our next player is Sage. And I just want, before we even talk about Sage, I just need to throw out there that I know you're just now meeting her, but she has something to tell you, and that is that she collects blackheads in jars in her home. And that was her choice on new people have not talked to her before. She said that before I even tell you her confessional. I thought that was important to tell you. So Sage has hold on. Sage has 7 confessionals.
Listen.
She has 7 confessionals. She is in a battle apparently against Shannon next week. She's not in a great spot. She's on the new blue tribe, but she just wanted to, she's like, Shannon presented herself pretty well in her opening to everybody, but Sage is like, yeah, I collect blackheads. I needed you to know that. I needed you to know that.
Can we just go back in time 1 week ago right now when I said, if she talks about bodily functions, I'm busy. And then, of course, that's when the infamous blackhead line gets brought up.
She's going to do it.
And here I am. I know, but did it have to be this week? Couldn't it have been when Mary would be here?
Yeah, so
That's
next week,
all I
yeah.
ask.
I mean, Sage has been, that's 3 out of 4 weeks that I can count that she's talked about bodily functions on.
I just got
Survivor.
so lucky last week that she didn't.
Yeah.
And you know, I have never in my life thought more about blackheads than I have in the last 24 hours trying to figure out what does this actually look like. I realize we're here to analyze this game, but just for a moment, I have to say, I cannot visualize this.
She's having people lean over a jar as she squeezes them out. Like, I don't know how that works. Is that how that works?
Like blackheads, can't you like extract? I hate this. I hate that we're doing this. I'm so sorry. But you can like extract.
Oh, like those nose strips?
Yeah, you can like kind of pull it out. I hate this.
Thanks, Sage. I'm greatly appreciative.
Sage.
During the winter analysis. I mean, that's really the content she got last night was that introduction. She gave one confessional. I don't remember what it was because all I could think about while she was talking.
About Shannon. Yeah, but it was post-blackhead conversation.
Post-blackhead conversation.
My life is split into 2 moments. Before I heard about this and after.
A very defining moment for us all.
It really was.
Sage for me is number 10. She is right above the skunked people because I'm like, there's no way a winner is getting this as their storyline. There's just no way.
Sure.
She hasn't been skunked, but at the same time, this is your storyline. This cannot be the winner of the show. If she was the winner, this would be a quirky side thing. It wouldn't be her main gimmick in the story. And yet it is her main gimmick. What do you got on Sage?
So with Sage, there is a small part of me, maybe this is also tinfoil hat, but I can't help but wonder if she like happened to mention that at some point before the season.
It was a preseason press. I remember this because I already knew about this.
But then they held on to it and they're like, make sure you bring it up. Like definitely say it when you get there. Like I'm just wondering if she was prompted at all. But I do like Sage. I might not like discussing bodily functions very much, but I like Sage and I'm intrigued by this Sage and Shannon thing because where Sage is calling into question the authenticity of Shannon, and we even see Steven doing that a little bit, the difference with Sage is no one is questioning if she's authentic. Sage is just who she is.
That's so
and
true.
She puts it out there, and you either trust her or you don't. And it seems like generally people trust her. It may just be more of a question of like, can we work with her? Like, do we want to? Which, you know, goes back to her backstory that she got last week of feeling left out. But I think Sage has good takes. I think Sage is authentically Sage, and I appreciate that because that is a struggle for all of us in this world. But I think it's worth noting those confessionals from Steven about her because I think Steven and MC are a little duo, which means Sage could be a part of a trio pretty quickly. So I think she's got a chance, and I think she's got more of a chance than Shannon. There
are 13 people left on the season, and 6 of them, their names start with an S. That's just too many. I just realized
it's so
I'm looking at our remaining players. I'm like, they couldn't have one of the S's voted off last night. Had to be Matt.
I don't even try to like prepare to know who you're going to talk about next because there's so many S's and I'm just not doing that.
Sage, I'm with you. Could get into an okay spot. I just, at the moment, it doesn't seem like her story is important enough or she doesn't seem like she's valued in the story enough to be the winner. The winner
Sage,
has some value. Good. I'm not talking about in life. I'm talking about in the story of Survivor 49.
Yeah.
Because every season is a story. The story here is not presenting her as somebody you should be invested in beyond the, I would say, very surface level bodily fluid talk that she does.
Sure. I'll give you that.
Okay. Well, Sage for me, number 10. Where's she for you?
9.
Oh, wow. So close to copying. All right. Our next player is Savannah. Oh, number 1 for me.
Wesley. At the beginning of the next podcast, I'm not even going to let you talk. I'm just going to say them in order and everyone's going to know. And someone will so kindly write them down in order in the comments for me and we'll move forward.
Okay.
Savannah's my number 1, obviously.
Not only is Savannah, who's on the new Yellow Tribe, has, where's her confessional count here? She has 25 confessionals, the most last night with 12, which I find very telling because this is post-tribe swap and a very important time in the show. I mean, the premiere, the episode of a tribe swap, the merge, the finale, of course, those are like really important like times to hear from the future winner. Savannah not only has the presence for it, she's on 50 on a tribe where there are no other winners for the cast reveal of 50 told us everyone on the tribes, and then it was basically publicly revealed who's on which tribe, and she's on a tribe with no other winners, and that was like very sus. She's been very important this season. The reason I'm not I have her number 1 because I haven't felt anyone else is a strong number 1 contender, which could just be enough right there. But we are only in week 4, and I have been notoriously wrong at this time in many seasons. I usually don't have the winner figured out until we reach like episode 7 or 8, and then by that point I'm 100% it's on this person because that merge really tells you a lot once we hit the merge. But at this point, it's too early. I haven't seen her interact with everybody, but also she has been. It's not Sandra where she's like going against another villain, you know. Sandra wins 2 seasons, but she's like against fair play. She's against Russell Hantz. And it's like, sure, Sandra is her very sassy self who speaks with a lot of expletives and would be a villain in most situations. But in these situations, because there's a bigger villain, she's just an anti-hero. I'm not getting anti-hero from Savannah. I'm getting a likable villain at the moment. And it makes me go, okay, am I supposed to like Savannah like Rizgod because she's going to be on 50, but she loses because she's a villain? Or is something going to change? Because at this point, she has no one to really be against. She's just like throwing red flags on people who are just doing, Jawan got some bugs in her bag. Like that, it was a mistake. And Jawan wasn't being malicious. And she's like, ha ha ha, evil. Matt's like, I worked in finances before I worked at the airport. She's like, ha ha ha, evil. Sociopath. Yeah. Sociopath. Like, holy cow, Savannah. So
0 to 100 real fast.
Right. 0 to 100 real fast. And while it is entertaining to me, Savannah's a great character. I do have her number 1 because I think there's a lot of evidence supporting that she could win. I do wonder if this is just a case of favoritism. She ends up losing, loses at maybe in the fire making, loses in second place, and shows like this is who we wanted to win. Like this was the person we wanted to win, and she lost. And so we're bringing her back anyways because we really liked her that much. I could see that. And that's kind of my counter to, it seems so obvious she's winning, but like Survivor has done irrational tribe placements in the past on returning tribes. I mean, look at this, look at 50. Like they have 2 people from 46 on the same tribe when they didn't need to do that. They could have evenly split the 3 people from 46 and they still, I think, but Charlie and Tiffany on the same tribe, and they did not need to do that. There was no need. That could have been evenly split. They chose to do it anyways. And it's like, Why the irrational split, on these returning tribes? So anyways, that's my long opening rant on Savannah, who is my number 1, and I said it first. But go ahead.
Yeah. Savannah is my number 1 as well. She has a lot of narrative focus, I think. So we've got her confessionals where she is definitely saying completely different things than what we're seeing on the island. But I think what we're seeing on the island is strategic gameplay. She's not going to show you how she feels. She's not going to look at Matt and call him whatever it was she called him. Or, with Jawan, she didn't insult him to his face. She kind of visibly cringed, I think, but she's really good at masking her true thoughts. And then I also just think that those confessionals, they're entertaining. I like to watch her. We're getting to see a lot of her. And I think that's genuinely what she thinks and feels in those confessionals. I don't get the vibe that she is playing it up. I think that's really what she thinks. And she's good enough to be able to mask it when she's around other people. I do think she had a good point in this episode where she talked about her interviewing skills and how she got Matt to open up. I can't say I personally understand why he kept his finance job a secret. I guess they said he was really high up or something, but she was able to pull it out of him. I think that's a big deal. And I think her new alliance with Sophi B, that was probably the first time where I felt like I saw genuine emotion from her that wasn't anger towards Sophie in wanting to be an alliance with her and feeling like she was reminiscent of home. And I think they could go...
Sounds almost a little abusive when you say it like that, Madison. You're like,
what?
This is the first time I've seen her express an emotion that isn't anger. Like, oh my gosh.
I feel that's a fair point. So to rephrase, her confessionals are normally who she's mad at. And Sophie, she seems to really love. And so I could see one of the two of them winning and the other having to like cut them off. And I actually really struggled with, do I keep Savannah as number one this week or do I put Sophie as number one this week? Stuck to my guns though. But I think those two are going to go far together, and I think we'll see more of an emotion out of Savannah because of it.
Honestly, I could totally see a case where Sophi B wins and is the hero in comparison to Savannah, the villain.
Oh, yeah.
I
could see that too.
I see that. I see the opportunity for it. Sophie, we're going to talk about soon. But right now, Savannah, I'm with you, is giving me a lot of villainous vibes. New Era tends to not lean into villains. In fact, if anything, they dunk on them when they get a chance. If you do anything the show perceives as something they don't like, they tend to dunk on you. But Savannah hasn't really been dunked on, but she's been a villain. Mm-hmm. So they probably have, like Sophie S. They got time. Sophie S. We're like, yeah. What's wrong with Sophie S? And then we found out this week. But well, what's wrong in the eyes of the show? I mean,
she doesn't want the diet reward.
Right. Savannah is entertaining. I like Savannah. I see why they're bringing her back for 50. So far, I see why they're bringing her back. So if she only gets better, she only continues to do what she's doing. A great character, villainous vibes in the New Era. So rare. I'm appreciative of them. Number one for me, I am looking forward to, I'm glad we had this tribe swap. I'm looking forward to the merge and seeing how important Savannah is. Like, does her entire game start crumbling apart? Does it fall apart? Does she actually build up? Is she more like, the thing with like D's the last time I think of somebody who some people think of as a villainous winner. And even then, they tried giving her a lot of sympathy. It's only when you wrote down things on paper that D did that you're like, oh no, D was kind of a villain. But like in the show, it was not portrayed that way. It was not portrayed, if anything, anti-hero, if anything, but definitely not villain. But like on paper, D was a villain. That was my personal opinion after reevaluating and seeing what everybody was saying about D. I'm like, oh, well, maybe she was a villain.
I think New Era villains are just confusing because what are they really? Pre-40, it's pretty obvious who a villain is. I think it's confusing now as to who's really a villain.
Sophie S is the biggest villain of the season. I think we all know why.
Apparently.
All right. Well, Savannah, number one for both of us. Our next player is Shannon. Is on the new Blue Tribe. Shannon has 9 confessionals. Seems to be next week in a battle versus Sage for her life in the game. You sounded like what you were saying earlier. You thought Sage is going to win out on that. I do definitely see the case for that. Shannon I've been inundated, I feel like, on social media with Shannon, which does, I feel like, taint my views a bit of Shannon in the game. What we saw in the game last night, I'm trying to keep it on that level for winner analysis. What we saw in the game was Shannon had a good first impression with her tribe, and then it kind of deteriorated from there. Like, it started well enough and then went downhill. And I think you were saying earlier, didn't somebody say they thought she was fake? Or am I misremembering? Sage
was hinting at that.
Right, because she was playing up her, all of a sudden, Shannon, who like was praying to turtles and talking about Mother Earth and stuff. Crabs, there you go. Is now all of a sudden leaning into Christianity more than she ever has before. And for those who are not Christians, I am one, and I don't pray to crabs. It's just not in the Bible. Throwing out there. So like, I think what Sage is saying is like Shannon's kind of been like, doing all these things, and now all of a sudden she's leaning into one aspect of her things to appeal to the people around her, which if it wasn't religion would be, in my opinion, a good move. However, Sage's like, this is so fake. This is fake.
Well, and that's a tricky one because that's very personal for people. Any trait you have is personal, but yeah. I think it's not an unnatural thing on Survivor or even in the real world. When you meet someone, you find your connecting point and you really emphasize that. I think the issue for Shannon in this scenario is that Sage has come with her. Sage knew what she was like on the other tribe. She's seeing that it's very different on this new tribe, and she's not a fan of that. And let's say that they both make it to the merge, or even just Shannon makes it to the merge. I do think while Sage has been a little on the outs with the others on their original Uli tribe, she did generally have the same reads as them. And it makes me wonder if, again, if Shannon makes it to the merge, will her original tribe have the same reads? And will Shannon have to try and figure out how to reconcile these two different, I don't want to say versions, but for lack of a better phrase, these two different versions of herself when they get to the merge? Because, Kristina is going to be used to one thing, and the new tribe she's on is used to one thing, and then the original Uli tribe is used to something else. I don't know.
I don't know either. Yeah. I really feel like in this battle between Sage or Shannon, I could see either going. And I know Shannon was in an alliance with Savannah, so maybe she can get back into that when they reach the merge, if she reaches the merge. But at this moment, I'm just like, I have to move her down because right now, like, her game's on the line in a group where I'm like, I don't see why they wouldn't vote off Shannon or Sage.
Right.
Like, I can see what them voting off Shannon because they're like, well, Sage seems, at least she's authentic, but she's kind of crazy. Like, not really a risk to win. Shannon,
sure,
a risk to win, or more so than Sage. And I could see that being the factor as to why to vote off Shannon, especially if Sage comes out and like, I was at the bottom of my tribe, and they'd be like, well, Sage doesn't seem like a liar, and I believe her. Where Shannon, and she'll be like, Shannon's being fake, and she was with the majority on my old tribe. And they'd be like, well, let's weaken the red tribe, the original red tribe, and vote off Shannon.
Yeah, well, and I'm just playing a numbers game in my head of thinking, okay, Sage has Steven who likes her. Steven's buddied up with MC. Would it really be that hard to pull Alex in for a majority to get Shannon out? I don't think that would be that hard.
Alex just can do whatever because, like, he has no dog in this fight.
Well, he's going to have options. And so then really what it comes down to is who would he prefer, Sage or Shannon? And I think he's going to see that Shannon is playing the game. And that's not to say that Sage isn't, but Shannon's really playing the game and trying to connect with people personally. And I'm not going to sit here and decide whether or not what she is saying is true or if she believes it, because I don't feel that that's my place. But I just think in terms of numbers and in terms of having to present the same self to both tribes you've been on and ultimately the one tribe you end up on, I think Shannon's got an uphill battle.
I can't speak on Shannon's salvation, but I will say everything I've heard is a little sus. That's what I'm going to say. It's a little sus. So, like what I was saying with, I think I said this yesterday on the podcast with Rebecca. I was like, with Coach, there was like 3 seasons of evidence to get to a conclusion, no matter what conclusion you came to. Here, there's only been 4 episodes. It's not enough.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. So Shannon, for me, I have ranked number 9. What about you?
Shannon for me is number 10.
Okay, let's move on. Our next player is Sophi B. Sophi B's on the new yellow tribe, has 1 vote against herself. Did get, if I thought last night she had double-digit confessionals, I was incorrect. She only got 6. But I say only got 6 like she doesn't have the second most of the season with 29.
Right.
Sophi B, main character energy for sure. Gets on this new yellow tribe, immediately integrates with Savannah, gets on her good side, which I guess out of everybody is the most important person to get on the good side of, because getting on her bad side apparently is as easy as having the wrong job over a decade ago. It's that.
True.
Who Matt did not know, by the way, when he was doing that job, he's like, I'm going to play Survivor in 11 years from now. And this job I'm currently in, it's a big mistake.
Cancel Christmas.
He had no idea he would have to cancel Christmas because of his finance job. What a sociopath he was. Sophi B, I moved her into my top 3. She finally cracked it. She is 3 for me. It's just no way to avoid it. This was a very important episode. It's like what I said with MC. Like MC, I want to see what happens post tribe swap. MC didn't get a lot of focus. Sophi B, I'm actually shocked did not get 10 confessionals. She had a lot of airtime last night. What do you think about Sophi B?
Well, Sophi B, I continue to love her. She remains my number 2. I think she's a really strong contender to win. She is very well loved. Like she said, she played up that lost little puppy who needs to be adopted so well. I thought it was interesting when she was able to connect with Nate. I think he had a dream about his children and he got a little emotional, and she was present and just listened to him and gave him a hug. And then his confessional immediately after is about how genuine and real she is and how he's going to stick with her. So she just has that effect on people. Even Savannah, which again, I think that's impressive. But I also think that she is strategic. And I think it's interesting. I know I keep going back to this, but how we see Savannah as maybe a more new era villain, and we don't see Sophi B as that. But Savannah's over here just volunteering to help Rizgod find his idol without even like considering keeping it for herself. And you've got Sophi B ready to sweep it up out from under Alex, but that's not how they're perceived to us. So I do think that's interesting because it's showing that even though she did that, let's all love her. But I think she she's really integrated well into the original Uli tribe. I think the music is telling for her. She has like mischievous music when she's doing something, or like victorious music.
Good
so
ear.
she's always getting the positive music, as opposed to Sophie S, who suddenly gets no music. So I think that's really telling.
Yeah. The thing with Savannah, I know since you brought her up, is when she did that, like, you could be like, oh, what a selfless thing for her to do. But like, they immediately threw in a confessional where she's like, I just want to make sure he has his vote. I don't really care about. Right. It's like, it was like making sure to like let you know that what Savannah's doing is all personal. Like, it's not or
That's
personal.
true.
It's all for her. It has nothing to do with her caring about others in that way.
But if it was deeply for her, though, she could have just taken it. Although sometimes I get a little squirrely on how the rules are.
A lot of risk. Let's say she did go and bust open the box and steal it, right? Like, there's a huge risk because Rizgod is going to find that box, which I believe was weighted down, or like, it wasn't, the box was going to be there whether she opened it or not. So that would have been very sus. And they'd be like, well, we saw Shannon or Savannah by the water well,
digging.
Right. So like, she did the selfish thing, but it was selfish for her game, and she knows who the idol is, and she's aligned with him. So, but in terms of Sophie B, I'm with you. The music is always a good thing. You almost don't notice it when you're watching Survivor. Right. It's the most subtle form of letting you know how to feel about somebody without you noticing. Like, we're always looking for confessional counts. Like, we're looking for how often are they on screen? What's the words that came out of their mouth? Like, these are important things. However, the music could tell you a lot. And like you're saying,
it really
mischievous,
does.
victorious, like, ooh, like, okay. Like, that makes us intrigued in Sophie B, and also make us think about her in a good light. It's not dodo music, which you do get from time to time. I want to say Sage got dodo music, or no, it was Shannon who got dodo music in, I think they both had it. They both got it. I was going to say with the bodily fluids, probably with Sage, but I can't. Yeah. I don't remember for sure. I do remember for sure Shannon got it when she was praying to the crabs. Like, she got the dodo music, and the dodo music is like, do they do that to a winner?
Not often, I don't think.
I don't think Sophie B's gotten any dodo music, even when she lost her shoe to the sea. Like, there could have
stomping on her buff.
There could have been dodo music, and there was not. Stomping on the buff, by the way, I thought was a bit cringy. What did you think? Okay,
listen, I actually didn't. I thought it was kind of funny because they have genuinely been through it. Like, I'm going to say like 10 times to try and convey my point, which will make it more cringe. Okay. But I thought it was funny. I thought that her and Alex had every right to have that moment. And the fact that Jeff didn't get mad at it makes me think he was okay with it too. Because Jeff will get mad about stuff, and he didn't get mad about that.
It depends. I think it depends on your intent behind things most of the time for Jeff.
True. I think they were silly. Like, they were funny about it.
Right. Jeff's okay with
because he said, silly. Drop your buff. So they dropped him, and she fake spit. And I think he said something about it. And then her and Alex were just like laughing and doing whatever. I didn't cringe. I laughed.
Had she broken something, I think that's a different story. But like throwing your buff in the sand that was already not going to be discarded anyways, or donated to charity, or however that works with those buffs, like, it was no big deal.
Not a big deal.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sophie B, I moved her up to 3. She cracked my top 3. Where's she for you?
She's number 2.
Yes, Sophie B, very sociable from what I'm seeing. I do notice that it gives me shades of Joe, and I do just mean shades, like little shades here and there, where it seems like a lot of times she like kind of like keeps her eyes down when she's talking. And I know that is and I'm not saying this on purpose. Like, Joe did this too. Like, Joe would sit and like keep his eyes down and like kind of make the other person feel like they're bigger than you, kind of like make them feel more important. Like, looking at somebody in the eye does make someone feel important, don't get me wrong. But like looking down, being like, oh, look at this poor, like she said, like puppy dog. Look at this. Oh, like Sophie B came from her tribe, but she's always looking down and like, like a little nervous, but like very sociable and nice. And, like those are like things that you don't think about, but are present. And Joe would do that a lot too, where he would like look down, speak calmly. Like, Joe's a big guy, and he played it down a lot, whether it was on purpose or not. He did it in 48, and it really helped him a lot. So I think Sophie B kind of has a little bit of that going on, which is a good thing. I could see it. Eye contact's great, but looking down because it's like, oh, poor me, is an effective tactic. What's the worst is when you act like you're bigger than somebody. That's the worst. You don't ever want to act like you're bigger or more important than somebody. Like, you don't want to be present for the conversation you're in. That's the worst. You don't want that. So, all right, our next player is Sophie S, who I think the past 3 weeks I was like, who the heck is Sophie S? Like, I know she's gotten confessionals, but like, who is this lady? Hey, I will give her credit. Even if she goes next week, at least I know who she is now. And I won't forget the time she told Jeff, no, this reward sucks. She has 4 confessionals, the least this season. I think we all know why. Sophie S on the new Blue Tribe. I don't think she's going anywhere. Like, I don't see her getting voted off. But definitely not a favorite to production by any means. We kind of talked about this earlier when she said, no, the fruit, don't want that. That's diet food. They made sure to show everyone else. You said music cut out. They showed everyone else going, oh, no, I want that food. Oh, she's just, it's like, you know, like even if Sophie S is speaking the truth, she is one in a crowd of a bunch of yes men. If that makes sense. She is standing up as this. She's like, no, the reward sucks. And I even saw Rob as a podcast who generally is more positive. And it was like, no, we should normalize this. We should normalize what she said. The rewards do suck. I was like, dang, dude. Like, all right, so I'm not alone on this thought. It's not wrong.
Like, the Sanctuary is not my favorite place.
Hey,
where good things happen.
Done Sanctuary all season.
We haven't done it.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, as a reward, I'm like, what is that? That's not. It could be better.
I wish the Sophie S would. I wish she was there for the dry hot dog reward on 47. I know I said it yesterday.
She'd really have a complaint with that.
She would have been like one dry hot dog, no condiments. No.
What cracked me up is when she said that about the fruit, you just hear Kristina go, I love you, girl, but I want the fruit. I thought that was great.
Yeah. Sophie S did herself no favor with the show story. If she wins the season, they skunked her as much as they could. That would be wild. I don't think it's happening.
Question though, did we see them eat the fruit at any point in time?
No, I was actually waiting for that too. I was waiting for like a follow-up where like she's like, actually I really do enjoy the fruit. No, I wonder if they all went back to camp and they're like, Sophie S, actually you were right. This fruit is not good.
That's what I want to know. Did she eat it or did they agree with her? Like, what happened?
I know. How come with 90-minute episodes we still don't get a follow-up on this? Because like,
well, how are you going to highlight that it's fruit and then we don't see the fruit?
Maybe we get it next episode. Does the fruits last long enough to have it in the next episode? That's the question.
No. Well, actually, it's only ever like 1 to 2 days. So maybe. I don't know.
Remember, this challenge is probably happening, I'm just guesstimating, around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They have tribal that night. The next episode theoretically starts the next morning in terms of showing their camp. With the fruit, I think the fruit makes it. That's less than 24 hours. Why not? I think the fruit could last.
Let's see. We'll see. Over on how long the fruit lasts.
The next morning, everyone's like, oh, that fruit really did me dirty. Sophie S is the only one like awake early in the morning feeling fresh. She's like, so glad I didn't eat that fruit.
Then she wins because she was just fine.
That's the next challenge. Her whole tribe's like sick and she's the only one carrying them.
Who was it? I mean, this was so long ago. Someone like ate steak on reward and literally had to go home because of it.
On Co-Wrong, that was Joe. He was like 70 as well.
Yeah, that was so long ago. So maybe, she took notes.
Bruce on season 12 also went on too many rewards and he got stopped up for a similar reason as well. And he got medically evacuated. And I remember this because Courtney was singing songs to him. He's like, please stop. And she did it anyways. And Shane was not wearing pants. He's like, is it okay if I help you medically evacuate him without pants on? They're like, yeah, it's fine.
That's so funny.
It's like the only medical evacuation where Jeff was not present for that I recall.
True.
Yeah, Jeff wasn't there. Yeah. He's like, Shane's without pants. I'm not going there.
Yeah, he can handle it.
Who are we talking about? Sophie S. I like Sophie S. It's unfortunate she had a skunked episode. I didn't even know who Sophie S was, but in one moment she instantly connected with me. Kind of like Nate instantly connected with me when he said, what are all the things these kids are saying?
Right. Yeah, she is in my memory forever now.
Yeah, Sophie S has earned her spot as a favorite now in my mind. 4 confessionals though, and just like clearly the show does not favor her at all. I have to rank her low, but I did put her at the top of my skunked people because of her dedication to doing something unpopular. Number 11 for me.
13 for me. She's at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. She probably should be 13. Like, ain't no way the show's promoting the winner saying something negative about the reward.
Strictly edit.
It's strictly edit. All right, our last player is Steven Ram. The last name, dude. Great last name. Steven Ram, as you said, aligned with MC. Seems to be in a good spot. He has 9 confessionals, is on the new Blue Tribe, and I think he ain't going nowhere before the merge story. Not even at the merge story. I think he's... I mean, I don't know. It could be a red versus yellow, original red versus original yellow at the merge story, and he could be a consequence of that, but it doesn't seem like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
What do you
I
think
don't have
about
a
him?
lot really to add to him because he's very middle of the pack for me. I'm saying it now. He's number 8.
Hey,
But I had to do it. The
I have him
loudest,
at number 8 as
the
well.
firstest,
Yeah, you were the firstest.
the third one that
You're
I
the
can't
most
remember.
correctest then because you
Yes,
said
the
firstest.
most correctest.
Right.
I don't know if I was the loudest, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, so nothing really has changed with him for me outside of his take on Sage, and I just see him and MC as potentially gaining a number out of her. I think he's insulated. He's got good reads. That's really it. There wasn't a whole lot of action for him last night outside of that.
Yeah. Stevens, I think, is in a pretty good spot. But again, it's kind of like he comes from the original yellow, which wasn't getting a lot of favor. And then last night, blue doesn't even go to tribal, so there's not much favor there. It's like, I still have not seen this guy go to tribal. I haven't seen MC go to tribal.
And that really tells
either.
a lot.
Right. It would really be helpful if this, I hope they go to tribal next week, but it does already next time Survivor. If it's to be believed, there's not much to like debate. It's either Shannon or Sage. And it's like, well, that helps me in my fantasy game, I guess, you know, but that doesn't.
Yeah, he's on my team.
Is he on your team? Dude, I flipped have Annie on my team. Oh.
Yeah. Well, and didn't she have Natalie?
Yes. Or Nicole, was it Natalie?
Or why did I say Natalie? Nicole. That was her name. So sorry, Nicole.
Right. I have Alex, but Alex has done jack squat for my points. Even though he's still in the game, he's done nothing points wise for me. Because of his.
I'm kind of at the same point.
Yeah. I see other teams with like their players get them like 20 points. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
Well, I will say last season, I was at the top the whole season and then suddenly just tanked. So I'm hoping I'm going to coast and make it higher than I expect.
All right. Well, that is all we have for this week. Next week, I'll be joined by Mary. And of course, on our Wednesday night podcast next week, if all things go well, Eric Reichenbach will be joining us for my podcast with Rebecca. And we will do our absolute best to not ask him about giving away immunity to Natalie. I'll try.
He's already been asked.
I will try. I'll do my best.
Do better.
I'll do better. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.